Well, it came out today that Google is removing infinite scroll off of their search results, so let's talk a little bit about how and why they might be doing it, as well as how this affects your business. Let's go. All right, so Google a few years ago, a year and a half ago, roughly introduced infinite scroll onto their page, where if you search something, you can just keep on scrolling and get a whole bunch of results, right? Seems simple, seems easy, allowed the user to just keep on going. Now, one thing that anybody who works in internet like stuff knows is that if you introduce a click, you introduce a barrier, because that wipes away all the previous results. Suddenly they're gone, they're off page, and it introduces a new set. So people are a little bit reticent to do it from a subconscious level as they're browsing. This means that conversions on the second page tend to go down, or beyond the click tend to go down, and now we're going to start seeing that even more on the second page. So if your business is on the second page of Google, it's returning to the where's the best place to hide a body on the second page of Google, because they're reintroducing the second page. So if your business is on the second page, good luck at getting good results from your SEO. So that's why everybody's scrambling to reach the top. But if you look at the other things that Google has been doing, they're also pushing down the organic rankings out of the first page regardless, because they're adding more and more ad inventory above the organic listings in lots of different ways. You have the Google local service ads, then you've got the Google search ads, and then you've got the location extension for the Maps pack, as well as now they've announced that they're going to put the local service ads also into the Maps pack. And that pushes all the results further down. So you have to remember the behavior of the user is they search something and they start looking at all the results until they choose one. And you want them to be you. And this is why it was so advantageous to be on the first page of Google, because that click led to a potential customer. But Google, rightfully so in some ways, has said, hey, we have something valuable here, and we have service to pay for, staff to pay for, buildings, all that stuff, and shareholders to make happy. We need to make money. So let's monetize it by putting ads in there. But standard, we need to make the shareholders happy sort of realm is they start going, okay, graph must go up. So if graph must go up, how do we make more money? Well, we can charge more per click, and we've seen them game the auction system. We can also have more inventory, which pushes all the organic down, which means that now a lot of the organic is going to get even harder, because it's going to be on the second, third, fourth, and beyond pages on Google. Now, a user would only scroll so far, but by reintroducing a click, it's a stopping point. And that is what's critical to know about this. This means that those who are on the first page will likely gain more traffic, while those on the second page will likely gain less. And that means also that the ads will become more effective than less effective, which makes them more of a premium, which means that Google gets to charge more. So they make more money. You have to remember that Google has two primary objectives in mind. One is to make shareholders happy, which means to raise revenue. The other is to protect the user experience. So this is where SEO really, really rubber meets the road, is if you have a website or a path through that Google deems is not good in their eyes by their many robots that scan these things, well, then they're not going to rank you well. But we're seeing that it's becoming more and more and more pay to play over time. And the battle is getting harder and harder, because there's fewer and fewer and fewer spots for you to put your website organically instead of paying to just be part of it. And then we're finding that those prices are going up because everyone's starting to pay, which is driving up the supply and demand cost, right? So that's the game of this. And this is, on the tail of other things that they're doing that are going to affect the way things go. So we've got the whole AI summary stuff coming down the pipe eventually. How that's going to affect home service companies, we have no idea yet. We're just sort of waiting to see what it is, and then we're going to have to guesstimate user behavior based on, we're marketers, so we're a bit of experts in human behavior. But we're going to be guessing at first as we look at data. Then the other thing we've got coming down is just Google is continually adding more ads into the mix. So And this comes back to my big thing is like SEO should be about you being found when people look for you. But you have to remember that if people aren't looking for you, there's a reason for it. It means that you don't have as much influence in your communities that you want to dive into as you should. And the only way to get that is by being a part of the community, being in front of people and influencing them, whether that is through advertising, co-op like opportunities, and things along those lines, sponsoring baseball games, doing events. Your word of mouth needs to be good, your reviews need to be good, because those are all a reflection of what? Influence. So when you really back up, what I think you need to really focus on is less on, do I rank on Google or do I show up on Google for one or two things? It's more around, am I influential enough to get the click when I show up and also drive people to look for me in the first place? And when people are looking for me, then do I show up? Otherwise, what you're doing is you're putting all of your eggs in the Google basket, and that's dangerous for a whole nother myriad of reasons that I've talked about. But what you truly want people to do is to wake up, need a plumber, and go, oh, I'm going to call the plumber I know, or the plumber that comes first to mind, which is usually the one that has shown up before they ever needed you in the first place. And it's all about being chosen, but not from an internet list. It's about being chosen because they've got a mental list and you're number one on it. So that's my whole approach to this stuff. I think that we're going to see a lot more happening on Google's world because they're making a lot of moves very quickly now instead of a few moves throughout the year spaced out. And that seems to, that's going to affect, of course, those who have been relying on Google. And remember, the most stable thing that you can ever hope to do with your business as far as like getting eyeballs is just buy to be there. So if you do it well, you do it properly, it works really well, and it has for hundreds of years. That's just called advertising. But those are my thoughts. If you guys want to talk to someone on my team about advertising or how to leverage your business into more eyeballs so you get more calls, you can find out more about me at tylerwilliams.net or go to my agency website, themammotheagency.com, and we primarily serve plumbers. So if you're a plumber, happy to talk. See ya.